Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. And it's so good to see all your smiley faces, and we toast you in style. Yes, we've got a little cocktail here to welcome you on the weekend. Toast to you and you and you and you. We are live on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show Series. How is everybody doing today? It's so nice again to see all those happy faces, all those lovities that are watching, the JMS lovities watching literally from all around the world. Really busy day for me. I had an all-day television news shoot earlier in the TV studio. Then we had a radio show. Then we had a voiceover recording session. Then somewhere in there, I did get a chance to eat. You guys know that sometimes it gets so crazy, I don't get a chance to eat. So I made sure, and you know what we had? Chicken Parmesan dinner with spaghetti and bread and some chocolate mousse for dessert. Not too shabby. Nice salad, Caesar salad. I know I'm reporting to you what I had, but we have got a foodie crowd too. We did a 2-hour foodie show once here on the Jim Master Show Live, so they love their food. We toast all of you. Sip, sip. I hope you have your beverage of choice, whatever it may be. And we thank you for being with us here on the Jim Master Show Live. Very tasty. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Again, I'm your host, Jim Masters. You guys know I work in television, radio station, film professionally. We started this show 655 episodes ago, which is amazing and counting. And we have a blast presenting all of these shows for you and you and you and you. The entertainment, the deep, poignant conversations, the surprises, the levity, the live interaction with our viewers, and everything else we can throw at you to inspire, entertain, and put smiles on your faces. You don't have to worry about all the chaos and the crazy stuff going on in the world. Just stick with us. Our Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series is like an old school television series, a television talk show. So that's how we're doing it. Not like a podcast or an interview show. It's really like a television variety show, and bringing all of you in, but with also a modern vibe and a modern twist of today. And boy, do we have an amazing guest joining us. She's all excited. She's been posting about it, sharing the links. We love her for that. And I'm excited too. She is a legend in the industry. Now, you see 3 shows listed there on the screen, right? That is their short list of what she has done. Carrie Genzel is an extraordinary actress. Also, she's a mental health advocate too. And she's very big into health and wellness and stress reduction and balance. That's a whole other side of what she's all about that you guys might not even be aware of. And we're going to touch on that too, because I think it's an absolutely beautiful thing. I also think too, working in these industries as we do, you do need to have a balance. It's extraordinary what she's doing. So we're going to touch on that too. But of course, The Walking Dead, Supernatural on CW, All My Children on ABC. That again is just a short list. She's born in Vancouver, and Carrie Genzel is an award-winning actor who has enjoyed a diverse career in both her native Canada and the United States. We have an international audience that watches the Jim Masters Show live, and a lot of folks that do watch in Canada as well as the United States, Europe, Asia, Australia. And we welcome you all, and we thank you for being here. So our Canadian audience is probably very excited because we have a native Canadian right here on the show. She's most notably known for her role as Skye Chandler on ABC's daytime drama, All My Children, as well as 2 very memorable roles on CW's Supernatural, and most recently recurring on the final season of AMC's The Walking Dead. Also returning for season 4 of Tyler Perry's Sistas on BET. Carrie has built an esteemed career in film, including roles in Zack Snyder's WATCHMEN and Terry Gilliam's The IMAGINARIUM of Dr. PARNASSUS, and Zack Lipovsky's Dead Rising WATCHTOWER, and William H. Macy's directed The Layover, and Jennifer's Body, directed by Karyn Kusama. Carrie has received widespread acclaim for her performances in both television and film, and in 2012 won the Best Actress Award at the Los Angeles International Underground Film Festival for her lead role of Emma in The Ballerina and The Rocking Horse. Offset Again, she is an advocate of good mental health and having launched the blog State of Slay and becoming an advisory board member for the nonprofit Attitudes in Reverse, which brings programming to students on anti-bullying and suicide prevention. It is Carrie's true mission to use her experiences and journey to bring hope to those who may be suffering in silence. Isn't that absolutely beautiful, gang? It really, really is. So many of you may know her for all the different roles on television and film, and you love her for that. But she's paying it forward. She's giving back, and she's doing it in such a phenomenal way. We are so honored to have her here. Now, you probably think that she's in Los Angeles or Chicago or New York. You know where she is? She makes her home now in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. That is exactly where she is. We're going to welcome her to the show. Before we do that, don't forget, gang, we invite and welcome you if you'd like to chat live right now. We can see your comments. We'll put a few of them on the screen. Be sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes, that's where we house the 255 episodes of our entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, The Jim Masters Show, live. So make sure you hit this big rectangular button. There's no cost. It lets you be a part of the JMS Lovity Squad, Lovity family when you do that. And be sure and click the notification bell. There's a little bell icon there. It actually looks like a bell. You see it on our YouTube channel. Click that. Why? Because you're not only going to be a part of the JMS Lovity Squad when you subscribe to a YouTube channel, you get updates and all kinds of cool things we're doing, special episodes and live shows and special guests and all kinds of cool stuff. But you'll be notified about all of our episodes and specials and everything else we're doing as well. So we'll do that. And we thank you very much if you've done it already. And if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. That helps us out big time. Channel is Jim Masters TV. And also give the episode a like. Actually, they should say a love, right? A like, and make sure you leave a comment for us on the YouTube channel as well. That is big time, and we appreciate all of that. So without further ado, live from Atlanta, Georgia, our very special guest, Carrie Genzel is here. Carrie, welcome to the Jim Masters Show. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. And oh my gosh, hello to everybody all over the world. I'm so excited to be here tonight with Jim and all of you. And I look forward to all of your questions and comments as well. I love the format of this show. This is such a great, fun format.
I appreciate that. And you love the whole Lovity Squad thing too, you were saying. Well, you're now a Lovity. Once you appear on the show or you're a viewer, you're instantly part of the JMS Lovity Squad. How does it make you feel?
I feel quite honored. I'm going to wear that title very proudly. I love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. You Lovity it. And you know, what's really, really cool is there are Emmys, there's Tonys, there's Grammys, there's Peabodys, there's Tellys. But then you get a JMS Lovity. I mean, that's got to make, are your feet tingling right now?
They're definitely tingling right now. That's got to go right behind me on the shelf.
Absolutely, my friend. So it's really cool to have you here, and we welcome you to the show. We'll have a really, really good time. I'd like to know a little bit about Atlanta for you, because you spent many years in Los Angeles, of course, and doing your thing. What was the attraction to Atlanta for you? Because it is a growing, booming area for a lot of film projects, television projects, and more.
Yeah. Atlanta really, I think for a number of years now, has been quite a hub for film and TV production. I initially came here for a completely different reason. The best reason, love.
Yes. Lovity.
Lovity. It's all, see how this is going already?
Yes,
it's all
full circle.
It's full circle. My now husband was living here, and we had met many years ago in Los Angeles and reconnected, and he was here, and I came out to spend some time with him, and I'm still here. And then we got married.
Now, is he in this industry as well, or
he is not?
Different?
No, he is in a different business. Although there's definitely some intertwined sections of that, but he he has a business where he designs websites, does social media posting, creates branding content, etc. So I like to dip my toe in there when I can and give feedback, but that's what he does. So it's nice to have somebody that's not in the entertainment industry and have like two different kind of industries in the household.
Exactly. But what's really cool is the fact that you have somebody sort of that also, not that you're madly in love with, of course, but also with the branding and some of that stuff for even for you, it's cool to have, right?
It's great to have. He just built me a website, so that was very handy. Something that I could not do myself. It's, perks, family perks.
Family perks. So, how have you been? Things are getting busy again. I work in television as well and radio and all, and I've seen it's been interesting. I've worked at times when the studios were actually closed and the only people in the building were me and the co-talent and maybe a director, a couple of camera people, producer, and that's it. The rest of the building's, empty. And it's like, wow. And now it's getting busier. There's production happening and a lot of things are going crazy. How about for you? Was there a downtime? Was there a period the last 2 years where things sort of went idle, or was there anything that you were doing that sort of paused and stopped and now is resurrecting?
Oh my gosh, yes. I think, for a lot of us, a few years ago, all of a sudden everything came to a screeching halt,
Yes.
and that certainly was the case for me. I wasn't working on something actively when everything got shut down, but certainly all those auditions and opportunities came to a screeching halt, and everything was very quiet for a while. And then, interestingly, you mentioned Tyler Perry's Sistas. That was my first job during COVID, my first job back, and we actually had to live at Tyler Perry Studios in quarantine for the duration
Wow.
of the shoot. So for those of you that don't know, Tyler Perry has an incredible studio here in Atlanta that used to be a military base. So it's very self-contained, and it has housing and it has everything on there that you would need. But it was very surreal because we were sectioned off in a part of Tyler Perry Studios where there was like chain link fenced around this whole big space that we were in, with signs that said "Do not cross, quarantine zone." I think I felt like I was in a movie. And we stayed in that bubble for the duration of the shoot. And we had food trucks in there, we had catering, we had a store, we had a gym, we had everything that we needed. And it was very interesting, but we felt, safe. This was, before vaccines or anything. So it still was a little weird to be around so many people. But they really went above and beyond to keep us safe. And it was weird to leave that space when we wrapped. It felt, I got used to feeling safe in the bubble, right?
Yes, right.
I
Exactly.
drove off the studio lot. I was like, oh, this feels really weird.
It's like an adjustment, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So it was, I've never been, on location in my own town. Like, it felt
Right.
very odd because,
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, on
Isn't it
location.
right? Like getting per diem, but I'm like in my own town. I'm like, this
Right.
is weird. And having to call my husband in video chat. I'm like, I'm really only a few miles away. Like,
Yeah.
it just was very odd. But that's what they decided to do to keep their cast and crew safe, and so
Yeah.
they could continue on with production. And Tyler Perry did that with a number of his productions, and to my knowledge, no one ever got sick on his set. So
That's amazing, huh?
he's in such a unique position to be able to do that, and it was great to go to work and feel like, okay, he's doing everything he can to make sure we get to still do what we love and keep
Exactly.
us healthy.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So things are getting busy now and ramping up, and that's fantastic. How did you first, growing up in Vancouver, which is a beautiful Canadian city on the West Coast, a beautiful place. Um, were there influences and inspirations in your family? Were there people that were in the acting world, in the arts, in entertainment that you aspired to within the family, or were you sort of that breakout child that said, this is what I want to do. And I want to, go to Hollywood. I want to go to New York. I want to pursue performance and acting. How did that work for you as far as those early inspirations in your life?
I definitely was the breakout child.
That was a fast answer.
Definitely. Going back, and this all ties into the mental health aspect too, of why
Yes.
that's so important to me. But, growing up, I was very, very, very shy,
Hmm.
and I felt very uncomfortable in my own skin. And it was in school that I discovered the drama club. And I was like, "Ooh, these are my people, right? These guys are a little bit weird, they're a little different. I identify with
Artsy. And
this group of people." Yes, a little artsy. They're good storytellers. And I was really nervous and shy when I first sort of joined that group. But they really helped me to come out of my shell and to kind of find my voice. And because I was so shy,
yeah.
I very often played different characters, even in life, right? I often would kind of try to adapt to who I thought you wanted me to be, right? Because I was so unsure of myself. And so discovering, the drama club and that, and these characters, I'm like, well, I'm doing this anyway. So why not, really get into this and do it for fun as well. And I think that, in doing so, I did learn a lot about myself. I kind of did it in reverse, right? I think of how most people would go about
Right.
finding
The
out
other
about
way, right?
right? But I really found a group of people that I loved and who made me feel at home. And I did community theater. At first I did the school plays, and when I grew up in Vancouver, which was in the 80s, there wasn't a lot going on. There was 21 Jump Street,
Yeah,
MacGyver.
that's right.
Funny that they've all revamped and redone those shows.
Rebooted. Yeah.
Right? And the odd film, but there wasn't really a huge, like, now there's even a bigger, production than there is in Atlanta. It's
Tax
huge.
incentives and all kinds of cool things have made that
Yeah.
possible, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I got an opportunity when I was still in high school to do some modeling. And I thought, all right, that's fun. I like clothes. I like fashion, and I knew the goal always was to get to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was it. So I knew that was going to be a faster track for me, being Canadian and wanting to get to the United States, than trying to build up my resume as an actor. So that's really what I set out to do. And so I got an agent in Vancouver, and then from there I got picked up in Toronto. So I moved to Toronto for a while, or Toronto, Montreal, where I ended up getting picked up by Elite in the United States. And that was
Yeah.
what got
Yeah.
me into the US, first Chicago, and which was big catalog, town. So
That's
there was a
right.
lot
Yeah.
of work.
Fashion industry huge in Chicago. Yeah.
Huge, yeah. And then from there I ended up, finally getting to LA and going, all right, now I'm gonna, kind of still do the modeling, which was kind of my, restaurant job. There's a lot of actors, right, that have that job.
Exactly.
But for me, it was great because I was, I was in my teens when I started, and it really helped me um, to learn quickly how to be a professional in this business and what was expected of me.
Right.
And so they really went really well together for me in terms of that transition from doing print work to being on camera. And as a model, I got some opportunities to do some on-camera work, right? Not necessarily in speaking roles, but just to be on set, whether it be a commercial or music videos, et cetera. But I got that experience of being on set, and again, understanding what that's like to be a professional and what's expected of you when you show up for work. So it helped me a lot to kind of transition into the speaking roles. I started working and doing one-on-one coaching with different acting coaches, and eventually got a manager in LA. And the very first speaking role I ever had on television was on The Bold and Beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a nurse. I had a recurring role as a nurse.
We were just talking about Sean Kanan and Justin
Yeah,
Torkelson, who were on the show recently as well. And yeah, a lot of
yeah.
people have come through The Bold and the Beautiful, huh?
Absolutely. And again,
Yeah.
that was such a great experience for me because, it was very, very new, and I got to rehearse with the cast who, there was an incredible cast, an experienced cast. So I got to go to rehearsal with them and, listen to the director, understand the language of, things that are said on set, and then go and do the work. And it was such a great experience. And daytime, they move very, very quickly. And, they're just, the amount of material that they're doing every day is just incredible. And, it's been many years since I've been on daytime, but I hear they go even faster.
It's incredible. I had always heard on
huge.
the soap operas that the scripts are like really thick, and there's a lot of memorization that you have to do
Yeah.
because you're filming one scene to the next and several episodes because it's a 5-day-a-week scenario. And if you're in a storyline where you're on a lot of those episodes, you've got a lot to do and a lot to really absorb, and it can be
Yes.
really intense, right?
Absolutely. And if you're working with someone who might be going on vacation, and this happened to me when I was on All My Children, I was working a lot with Susan Lucci at the time, and she was going on vacation. So we had to shoot the shows ahead of time,
Yes.
right, for her vacation. And there was one day I had over 90 pages of dialogue, three and a
Wow.
half different shows, 3 different hair, makeup, and wardrobe changes. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. I remember having scripts like stashed all over the place on the set, and I'd like quickly run through.
Yeah.
But I found too, like everything else, right? When you do something a lot and continuously, and when you're on a soap, you're constantly reading scripts, memorizing, and you're in the headspace of that character every day.
Yes.
It becomes, or it did for me anyway, it became easier.
Yeah.
It's like a muscle. You just keep using it, right? And also you start to really predict kind of how your character was going to respond in certain situations, and kind of get into the flow of that. But Tyler Perry, on the other hand, is even faster than soaps.
Wow. Really?
Tyler Perry blows my mind. The very first day, and when I booked Sistas, I called everyone I had known that had ever done Tyler Perry, because I'm like, I hear he works really fast. And they were like, oh, that's not even,
That's not even the half of it.
even come close. They were like, it will make your head spin.
Wow.
And the very first day I'm on set, now again, going back, this is my first job working during COVID. So we have masks, we have visors, we have whatever. And it's very difficult to communicate as an actor, right? Even
Yeah.
when Tyler himself is speaking as a director, it's very, and you're like, what's he saying? Like,
Right. What was that? Yeah.
right. And
And
you're
the
like,
facial expressions you have to show,
it's
especially on shows. It's like,
it's
and you
really
can't see it.
difficult, right? As a performer, this is how we communicate, right? So it was very difficult, but it was a huge set that we were on. It was an airport set. So there
Yeah.
was, and this set was massive. I mean, it really did look like you were in a concourse of an airport. It had a full gift shop that had stuff in it. It had a bar. It was crazy.
It's a real
And
deal.
it
Wow.
was a real deal. But like, he does over 100 pages a day, right?
Yeah.
And
That's a lot.
he
Yeah.
does not rehearse at all. So
Kind of like Jackie Gleason, who
I
didn't
was,
rehearse.
yeah, I was on set in what I thought was camera blocking, but we were actually shooting.
See?
And I was like, thank God I have all that soap experience where you move really quickly,
Get
right?
it done, move on.
You
Yeah.
mess up a line, you kind of ad lib and get back in,
Right.
because we got through it, and I thought, okay, great. Well, now I'm ready to do it. Like I got that out, like good rehearsal. And they were
Mhm.
like, you're done for today. We'll see you
That's
tomorrow.
it. We
And I
rolled
went,
cameras. Mhm.
what?
Right. Do you think is that a strategy so you don't have to is it a strategy so if you think about it or overthink about it, then it changes the dynamic of the performance, where in this case you were just doing it, so it seems even more natural in some way? Do you think that is part of the strategy? Capture them when they don't know they're being recorded?
It's like candid camera. No.
Yeah.
You know what? They
Where's
just
Alan Funt?
right? They shoot so quickly on his productions that there just isn't time. You know,
So they
it's
need to
literally one and done unless something technical happened. He uses, at least in my experience with the television, everything's on steady cam.
yeah,
So you are kind of given sort of a loose idea of where to stand, and then they just follow you.
they
Right?
follow you
You
around,
move
right?
if it feels natural. You go there. You go there.
Keep the
Um,
flow and
and there's a flow, right? So I am coming back for this fourth season, and we've already shot it, but we had um, two episodes that all took place in the same set, and we shot that all without a single cut through both episodes as one long scene.
wow.
So it's, it's like, wow. And, he will, if he has an idea for a different line or an ad lib or something, he'll kind of shout it out and you'll go back and kind of use that line because sometimes he gets inspired by what he's seeing. But other than that, if he's happy with what he sees, you don't hear from him at all, right? He's quiet.
Exactly, right,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, you know, how long was The Bold and the Beautiful? And was the transition from The Bold and Beautiful right to All My Children? How did that work?
You know what? I'm trying to remember back to how many episodes I did. It was a handful. I don't
Yeah,
recall how many I did. There was definitely like maybe 5 or 6 of them, maybe more. Um, IMDb is not really precise from back then because there was no IMDb.
not back
Um,
then, no.
and I can't recall because it's, way back. But, from there, I started doing some guest stars on different shows. I did a couple
Yes,
episodes of Picket Fences, which was a show that I
that's
love.
right. Remember that show?
Love
Yeah,
that show.
that was a
Um,
great show.
yeah, and I did, Married with Children, which was
That's
really
right.
fun. But it was during that time that I was doing Picket Fences that I got the screen test for Skye. And I remember seeing Lauren Holly in the hair and makeup trailer, and I was like, "Hey, can I ask you about daytime? Like, I'm going up for this role, and I have a screen test, and like, is that something I should do like on a long-term basis?" Like it was really cool to have her feedback on that. Because I was starting to do more nighttime primetime stuff and I was a little unsure of like, well, should I lock myself into a contract or should I just keep doing what I'm doing? And she gave me some really great advice and she had a great experience and she's like, it's a great, learning ground. It's a great place, especially All My Children, which had such a solid cast. And to live in New York and have that opportunity. And I had actually screen tested for another role prior to Skye, which was the role of Kelsey, which was very odd because she was a high school kid. And I had auditioned for that maybe 6 or so months prior. And then with the role of Skye, I thought, I don't know if I'm right for this. I feel like I'm maybe a little too young. I'm not really sure. But, I ended up booking that. And, oh, I can't hear you.
Do you remember what they
Oh,
said they were looking for? Do you remember what the role actually called for?
gosh, no, I don't. I mean, this was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, yeah.
I just felt like I was maybe a little younger. Like Skye was married and she, had this big life already. And I guess I was about 26 when I booked that. And I think, that the idea was that maybe she was in her later 20s, maybe early 30s. And I thought, I'll give it a try. Of course, they're asking me to come out and screen test. I'll screen test, right? Not thinking I was going to get it. And, I got a call I remember that was on a Friday. I flew back to LA on a Friday, and Monday morning I got a call from my manager at the time, and he said, "Kid, your whole life just changed." And I said, "What are you
Wow.
talking about?" And he
You know
goes,
what?
"You're getting on a plane tomorrow at 6 a.m. You booked all my children." And I was like,
Holy cow.
"What?" Like, yeah. And it
Now,
did
had
change.
you watched, had you were familiar with All My Children, you watched, you probably knew the characters and your
I
family
wasn't
probably
like,
watched.
I wasn't really familiar with it. I, of course, knew who Susan Lucci was because everyone knows Susan. And I
Absolutely.
knew, David Canary, I knew
Hmm.
some of the characters. My mom watched predominantly Another World and Days of Our Lives. And
Another
so I
World,
grew.
Rachel and Mac and
Yes,
Ada, Constance
right?
Ford, Douglas Watson, Victoria Wyndham.
Yes. So I
I
knew
know.
that very well. And so I immediately started watching All My Children of like, oh my gosh. And what was tricky about Skye when I first came on the show is that she had amnesia and didn't know who she was. So a great soap
Great
entrance.
way to begin, right?
Yes.
But
Um,
of course.
yeah. So, people were like, this is who she is, but she was not any of those things because she didn't even know who she was. But it was a strange way to come on the show. I was in bed a lot and I wore like a white nightgown for months and months on end.
Hey, it beats
Yeah,
heavy lifting, right?
true. Very true.
So what was that like as you were getting immersed in that role of Skye? Obviously that was bringing a lot of attention to you and your skill and acting prowess, and people were noticing you, and the super fans of All My Children were really starting to take to the character, to you. What was that feeling like for you? It had to be really cool.
It was, and it gave me a lot of anxiety at
I would
first.
imagine. Yes, because a big responsibility, right? Because the soap
Huge
fans are
responsibility.
very, yeah, they
Vocal.
love, they're
Yes.
vocal, they're passionate, and they know the storylines. If somebody, if they have a set and somebody rearranges the wall hangings, they'll write in and say, I like the picture when it was better behind the fireplace, or
Right. No, well, I have to say though, Jim, like the fans really helped me a lot at the beginning
yeah.
with the character because Skye had been off the show for about 6 or more years. And so when I was asking, you know, production, the producers, even some of the cast members about the character, they're like, I don't know. I don't remember. Right. And I'm like, oh, and we didn't have the internet back then. So I couldn't like just get online and
Couldn't
like,
Google it.
now there's like a lot of information about Skye. So I really relied on the fans a lot because I remember doing an interview saying, it was hard to get some information on her, to get some background, figure out the history of this character. And I started getting like letter after letter after letter after letter from the fans telling me about Skye. And
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
yeah, it was incredible. And I really, really, built that character with all of the fans, and I've always been so grateful for that, and I always hopefully they know that I've appreciated that and their continued support over the years because I feel like we all did it together. It was like a community effort because they
Exactly.
didn't give me a lot of information about her, and it was
Yeah.
really fans that filled me in.
And that role, I mean, you just, took it by the bullhorns and you ran with it, and you made it your own, which is really fantastic. And it's an iconic role in the All My Children series. Um, what was it like as you were going along and playing that character and the role was developing? You got out of bed, you weren't wearing the white anymore, and now you're actually immersed with other scenes and other cast you're working with.
It was really incredible. I think that in a way, it was nice to be locked up in the attic in the white nightgown for a while so I could catch my breath of like, oh my gosh, look at all these amazing actors walking around, I was a little intimidated, And and then I was working with the amazing Michael Sabatino,
Oh yeah.
who played the evil Dr. Kinder, and then I got a roommate. I got Robin Mattson. Janet was also being held captive, and so I got to work with Robin, who is an incredible veteran of daytime and a wonderful actress. And then I escaped and got to work with Susan Lucci, which was like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to be on a soap opera and your character makes friends with Susan Lucci, with Erica Kane, that's a
You
pretty
can't
big
go
moment.
wrong.
And I love the storyline that they gave us. We had the three women trying to take down the evil Dr. Kinder, and the fans loved it and cheered us on. And it was really fun to have that female camaraderie on daytime and work together, along with some comedic moments as well. There's one thing that I always loved working with Susan is she's very funny. I always say to her, I was always like, you should do more comedy. She's got a great sense of humor, and it was really fun to play the comedic elements of the storyline and work the three of us together to go after Dr. Kinder. Jennifer Bassey's character Marion got involved in all of that as well, which Jennifer is a dear friend, and God, and her, speaking of comedy, Marion, Jennifer knows to hit a line like nobody. I mean, she can make anything funny.
Right. That is funny. Well, we dug up a little clip of you as Skye on All My Children, and we're going to play that for our audience here. A very special guest, Carrie Genzel, is here live and direct from Atlanta. No, that's not a soap opera set behind her. That's her real house.
The real deal.
That's it. Here she is, Skye. This goes back to the 90s and ABC's All My Children. Take a look, gang.
I've done a lot of stupid, selfish things. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve it, Edmund.
Deserve what?
I was so desperate to feel loved and accepted. I built up everything in my mind. I told myself that you weren't good enough for him.
Skye, this was a long time
Yeah,
ago.
there's no need to bring it up now.
Please, let me finish.
I mean, Edmund's got a smile that's pretty irresistible.
But I used the situation. I thought if I created a reason for him to turn to me.
What reason?
I tried to manipulate things so that you'd...
Skye. Skye, what's going on? What could be so awful, okay? It'll be all right. Just tell me. Tell me what's going on. Look, you feel better if you get it off your chest.
Skye, nothing is unforgivable.
Erica stole your baby and let you think it was dead. Have you forgiven her?
I will one day.
But how will you ever get past what she did?
I've got a beautiful daughter, and I've got an incredible husband and son. And I won't cheat my family by living in the past. I'm not going to let what Erica did to us hurt us any more than it already has.
You can really do that? Just let it go?
Well, I've made some pretty terrible mistakes. And thank God I was forgiven. And I think it just makes it a lot easier to forgive others.
Maria's more evolved than I am. Erica kidnapped our daughter. She cheated us at a time with her that we'll never get back. And she tried to destroy my family, and I will never forgive her for that. I hope she rots in jail for a good, long time.
I'm sorry. I'm late. I promised Roberts that research.
Wait a minute.
Skye, you didn't
Skye,
know
what's going on?
what you came to say.
I'm sorry. I'm late. I tried, Uncle Stuart, but Edmund will hate me. He'll never forgive me.
Oh, sure he will, Skye. Sure he will.
No. You didn't hear him. He's still so angry.
You can make him understand.
It's not possible.
Skye, anything is possible. Look at you. You can't go on like this. You're jumpy as a cat. You're going to make yourself sick.
Who cares? I don't.
Well, I do. Because I love you. Now, whatever it is that you've done, whatever your secret is, you've got to let it out. You know, when I have a secret or I'm afraid of something, I write it down. And then whatever it is I was scared of just doesn't look so scary anymore.
You want me to write a letter to Edmund and Maria?
Yes, if that's what it takes to make you feel better. Go on, Skye, try it.
So?
I can't even admit it to myself. How can I write it down?
Well, you don't have to mail it even. But make it between you and your conscience.
Okay. I'll try.
Good.
I love you, Uncle Stu.
Skye, you're such a good girl. You are.
You might be the only person who thinks that.
Okay, now get busy. And if you need to talk to me about anything, you just call me, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Dear.
Oh my
When
God.
you see that, what happens? What is it? And well, of course, David Canary working with that icon in the soap world, no longer with us, of course.
No, and neither is John Callahan, unfortunately. He passed away
Right.
as well. Yeah,
So sentimental watching it.
very
But
much.
when you look at the character and you on set, what floods through your mind, Carrie?
Gosh, I just look at myself and think, oh, you're such a baby. You have no idea what's coming. It seems like such a long time ago. That was
Well, the
that was-
audience, our celebrities are saying you look exactly the same.
Oh,
Isn't that
oh my
cool?
gosh. Whoop, sending this
Lovities.
love out there. It was, the beginning of the start of my career, and it was such a big opportunity for me. And I do look back at all of those scenes so fondly. I learned so much from all of those people. I mean, David Canary, who played twins on the show. Of course, there you see Uncle Stuart, who was Skye's only friend for most of my stay in Pine Valley. And also, of course, he played Adam. And so I got to work with him quite a lot. And I called him my New York dad. His dressing room was across from mine, and he would check in on me all the time. And as well with Kelly Ripa, we were his TV daughters. And he just was such a wonderful man and had the, incredible stories to tell about his career and his life. And we talked a lot because of this Skye and Adam dynamic about, family dynamics and family issues and overcoming those. And so we really got to have some good heart-to-heart talks during the time that I worked with him. And anytime I see a clip with Stuart, it does make me emotional. And going back to the mental health aspect of things, right? He offers some great advice.
Did he?
Right? Just write a letter. You don't have to mail it. And it's, things that I've done in my life too, when I've maybe are having a hard time overcoming something, or maybe there's someone who's no longer here that there's unresolved issues. And it's actually something I've used where I've written the letter and then maybe burned it or let it go in the ocean, or done different things with it just to kind of let go of the past. And so it's just interesting watching that clip, because I'm like, that's some solid advice.
Exactly. Yeah, it really, really is. And you've had so many incredible storylines in All My Children and epic performances. When you look back at All My Children, that was really an iconic period for you, a very crucial period for you in your career and your development as an actor, right?
It really was. I say this all the time. I'm so grateful for all my children in so many ways. I learned so much there, and things that I still use on set every time I step on set. And going back to Tyler Perry and just the speed at which he works, and having the skills to improv and continue to just keep going on with the scene and think on your feet, and are all things that I learned on All My Children. And just, working with such a great kind of troupe of actors. The thing that's so wonderful about daytime is that you have this family of actors that you're always working with, and you have such a longer period of time to develop and tell different stories. And it's just, it feels great. It's like theater in that, you have that troupe of actors that you're working with, but you're continuously working on new material. I remember when I was on All My Children, you do a lot of the New York kind of charity, different things. And I believe it may have been a St. Jude's event, and F. Murray Abraham was there, and he was talking to me, and he said, forgive me, I'm not sure, what, are you in theater? Are you on a show? Like, I don't know you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and I said, oh, I'm on All My Children. And he goes, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do that. And I looked at him, I said, you're F. Murray Abraham. He said, you know what? He said, I do what I do. There's so much rehearsal, like even with Broadway, right? You rehearse, and then you put it up on its feet. He said, you guys do that every single day. Every day.
Yeah.
It's a new play. He said, I don't know how you guys do that. And I said, well, we just do, you just do.
What was one of the more memorable or craziest moments or storylines that come to mind? Maybe there's several, but there are a couple that really come to mind that either were very wacky or you just really loved being a part of that scenario.
My gosh. Well, the clip that we saw, what she's trying to say to Edmund and Maria in that scene is that she actually switched the paternity test results of their baby. Yeah. So there's a lot.
Can laugh about it now, right?
We can all laugh about it now. And to do that, she seduced the kind of nerdy lab guy, and then she switched there was a whole caper that happened. So there was that. Skye got involved in a lot of things. When I was there, she was just meddling in so many people's business, and in the end, as they were writing the character off the show at that point, I was just sharing this with a friend of mine the other day on the phone. I was like, I felt like I went on some sort of redemption tour through Pine Valley, and I was like crying for a month and a half every single day, telling everyone what I had done. And there was a lot. And the thing that was so crazy about that too, of like, the show kind of bleeding into my real life, is on the show, Skye got blackmailed and had to leave Pine Valley. Dimitri blackmailed her, and so she left town, and they wrote into the show that Skye moved to California, which was a little crazy because I moved from New York when I left the show back to Los Angeles, and I kind of became the Where's Waldo of daytime. Like, people would run up to me in random places and be like, oh my God, Skye, like, you have to go back. And they'd be like all excited, like they found me, right?
Exactly.
And it was really
like
crazy.
you're not Carrie, you're Skye, and you're in California as the role said you were,
right.
And they were seeing Skye.
Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Really, really nuts for a while. And there were times that it really took me off guard. I'd be like valeting the car and someone would run up, or I was like,
and they tell you what you should do. Yeah.
They were like, you got to go back. You got to go back. Your dad was asking for you. I was like, why couldn't they maybe go to like Albuquerque or somewhere? Like
somewhere, exactly. Yeah. Tucson or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, because a couple of people are asking, the Levity viewers, and we welcome everybody watching from around the world, the Levities commenting, and we've been showing a couple of comments, sprinkling them in. If you'd like to comment live, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. You can comment in our JMS live chat room here. When they decided to have the character move on, what was that like? And did you know well in advance, or was the storyline sort of headed in that direction? And what is that all like when here you are, a character that is a really monumentally important to the series is now going into another direction? You're headed to not Albuquerque, but California. By way of Albuquerque.
Exactly. You know what? It was horrible. It was really horrible. I didn't want to, I felt like there was so much more story to tell. And the feedback that I got from fans was that they felt the same way. And it was really tough because I had a lot of people coming up to me on the street, or if I was at different events. That was still back in the day when they had ABC Super Soap Weekend at Disney World. Do you remember those?
Sure. They had all
And
that, right?
and I was there, and people were like chanting. They were like, "Don't go!" And it was just really horrible. But as an actor, we don't have any control over what's happening in the writers' room or network decisions. And so that was a decision that they had made. And
But the fans were upset too.
Yeah,
they probably were writing in saying, "What are you doing?"
Letters and letters and letters. Yeah, they did not want her to leave, and I agreed. I thought there was so much more story to tell, but we don't have a say.
Exactly. But you look back at it all fondly. I mean, the people you worked with, just the whole experience,
Absolutely.
huh?
It was a really wonderful experience. And, I'd never lived in New York before. So to have an opportunity to live and work in New York City and really get to see it, when you're on a show, you get to do and see things that typical people don't get to do and see. You get invited to do things. I mean, it was only a matter of weeks that I was taping the show, and I was at Radio City Music Hall at the Daytime Emmy Awards looking at Oprah.
Yeah, there's Oprah, right? Exactly.
Going, what happened to my life? Like, what is this?
You're right. Long way from Vancouver. Exactly.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you bump into the other cast members of the other soaps, the In Other Worlds and As the World Turns, and all the ones that at that time were being filmed in New York, a lot of them in the big warehouses in Brooklyn, or the CBS Television Center. You get a chance. It's become somewhat like a family, doesn't it? In a way, the folks who are in daytime with the different, and some of them, I remember when Another World ended, there were a couple of those characters that went to other, I think, Guiding Light or As the World Turns. Steven Schnetzer, who was a guest on our show too, who played Cass for years on Another World, ended up going on one of the other soaps. They sort of absorbed them in. Beverly McKinsey, who was Iris Carrington, Mac's daughter, went on to Texas. And they had that short-lived series Texas, which was a spinoff of Another World, like Somerset was. And could you tell that my sister and mother had Another World on in the house?
You yourself.
And they had them all. There's Somerset, and my mother watched Love Is a Many Splendid Thing, Love of Life.
Wow.
Remember all those?
Yes.
Of course, Edge of Night.
Oh my gosh. Well, Skye did continue on later on, and I think went to One Life to Live, and then of course General Hospital. So she lives on out there in the daytime
ether, the daytime ether
out there. Not currently on any shows. She's out there somewhere. Maybe she's in Albuquerque. Who knows?
Maybe she's in Albuquerque now, right? Or in the area somewhere evaporated in Area 51 somewhere.
Maybe.
So after that came to a close, that chapter for you, what happened next? Did you take some downtime, or did you go and hop right into, the next project that came along?
Yeah, I moved back to LA and I jumped right in. I
Yeah.
was excited, to be, as an actor, to get to do what you love to do every day is such a privilege. And so when that came to an end, I just want to keep working. I want to
Yes.
continue to work on my craft, and I want to continue to work. And I ended up booking an episode of Beverly Hills 90210, actually.
Yes.
Really quickly after all my children. And it was really funny because I wasn't working with Tori Spelling, but one day there was a knock at my dressing room door, and I opened the door and it was Tori Spelling. and, and it said, I just really want to thank you for being on the show. I really loved your character on All My Children. And I was like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, soaps. It's
Wow.
everywhere.
Well, actually, one of the guys that I went to college with in New York ended up on the soaps, and you may have worked with him because it was around the same time period. And All My Children was one of them because he was from New York originally, went to college in New York, same school as me in New York. And Greg Wrangler
Oh my gosh, I know Greg.
went to college with him.
That's hilarious. I
Yes.
just saw Greg in a commercial for something.
Yes, I saw
right?
him in a commercial. It's sort of a quirky, funny commercial. He plays like the husband or something. But he was in that commercial. Do you remember the commercial that ran for, boy, 25, it has to be 25 years, if not longer. He was in that commercial, couple of lines. That's about it. The Folgers Christmas commercial,
Right.
where he's getting out of the Volkswagen with packages. He's got his college jacket on. It's snowing. He goes in the house. People may remember this. You can see it probably on the internet.
I'm sure.
Legendary classic TV commercial. But he talked about that, I remember, in school because he had already filmed it. And there was another one he was known for, Three Musketeers, with the buddies in the car having the Three Musketeers. But that Folgers commercial for the coffee ran for like 25 plus years. And he goes in the house. It's quiet. They're playing that Folgers theme music. He goes in to make coffee. His parents are up in the bedroom sleeping, but the mother starts waking up. She's smelling the coffee. The father's smelling the coffee. I think the sister. And he puts the presents down by the tree, not saying anything, just the music's running. And then he makes the coffee. And of course, he sniffs the Folgers coffee and smiles. And then he has the cup of coffee and he starts walking by the tree. The parents start coming down in their robes and they say, Bobby or Willie, whatever his name was. And he just says something. She said, "Oh, so great to have you here." And "It's so good to be home, Mom." And then takes a sip of the coffee and then Folgers. That thing every Christmas, I think up until just recently, they kept running.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was a really beautifully shot commercial, warm and, Christmassy. And
the way you described that in such detail, I could smell the Folgers crystals.
I was going to say, I've done a couple of commercials here and there, but it's just when you have something like that, people know him from so many of those commercials. But yeah, he went to the same school as I in New York, and but he was already. People were enamored the fact that they saw him on television, and here he is. He's going to college, and then, okay, I got to take a day off from school. I got to go into the city and shoot something, a commercial or whatever. Really, really, really cool.
He was on All My Children when I joined the cast, and then left during the time I was there. But yeah, and then of course he's probably still in LA. I know we saw each other in LA a few times afterwards, but yeah. Oh gosh, Greg. Yes.
Small world, huh?
Well, this business is so tiny.
Oh, it's everybody. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You also, Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yes.
Not to do a nice big shift and tangent.
That was magical. You just
that's a lovely segue. Tell us about that, how that came about.
I was in LA and I auditioned for the show. I myself don't have kids, so I had no clue how popular that show was. I knew who Selena Gomez was, but I had no idea just how popular that show was until I did it. You know, I had a blast working with them, and it was so fun to work with Selena, and just they had such a great cast on that show, and David DeLuise, and you know, we
Son
had
of Dom DeLuise, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and gosh, you know, it was a lot of fun, and like I said, I had no clue just the popularity of that show until it aired, and all of my friends that have kids were like, "Why didn't you tell me that you were doing that show?" And then I felt bad because I'm like, "Oh, I guess we could have got you to come and, you know, watch the taping, but oops." But it was really fun to do that show. You know, aside from doing dramatic work and crying on camera, I really sort of later on in my career really enjoyed comedy, and
Yes.
really kind of got addicted to that. Like, I want to make people laugh. And so it's really fun because that show, for the most part, is shot in front of a live audience.
Yes.
And so you really get that instant feedback, which is really fun, because typically on set, you know, you're very isolated, you know, and it's just, you know, the cast and crew, and you're not getting that instant feedback that you are with a live audience.
It's and the ones that started all that, Lucy and Desi, the 3-camera shoot, the studio audience, and groundbreaking ever since. And there's that reaction. Sometimes you get a wacky laugh from somebody in the audience that just gets everybody laughing. There's really nothing like it. So you enjoyed being on that show, huh?
Oh my gosh, it was a lot of fun. It was just a very fun, lighthearted show, and with a little dash of magic.
We have some evidence of how much you enjoyed it.
Oh,
take a look.
Oh,
Megan, wow, you're here.
Yep, I'm here. Nice job combining two of your favorite things, railroad travel and eating.
Well, that shows how much you don't know me. My two favorite things now are baking my own pie crust and knitting. Wow. Never thought I'd see the day that you'd come back here.
Well, when I heard what you were going to do, how could I miss it?
What?
What do you mean, what?
Start winging it, Captain Flappers.
Daddy, Aunt Megan was really excited to hear how much you missed her and how you feel really, really bad about what happened.
Really? Because that doesn't sound like Megan at all.
All right, look, I'm just gonna cut to it. I was told you were gonna be on your knees for this.
The only way I'm getting on my knees is if I'm sitting on you, dangling a loogie over your face.
Then why did I even come back to your stupid restaurant / train station?
It's a sub shop.
so
It's a sub shop. That was great just to see that. So what was the set like? It must have been hilarious, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, we just laughed a lot. It just was so much fun, and it's fun and over the top, but it's you know, a very much of, you know, this show centered around a family, you know, so there was very much a family atmosphere, and the show had been on for a number of seasons before I was on there, but you know, you know, I remember like laughing a lot with Selena and talking to her about boys and shoes and clothes and all that stuff. And it was like, I felt like I really was her aunt, you know, who had come to town.
That is funny. And then Under One Roof, tell us about that.
Under One Roof was, gosh, that was something again that I didn't even think I was going to get. I didn't have a lot of sitcom experience, and, you know, went in there and did it, you know, just kind of gave it my all and ended up booking the role. And that was interesting and very different because we were working with Flavor Flav, who had never done scripted television. and was, had worked so incredibly hard to get up to speed. Had worked with an acting coach prior to us starting production, and I had an acting coach every day on set. And he really, truly worked so hard. And his learning curve was incredible from the beginning of the season to the end. But that was just really so much fun to do. I play this Beverly Hills trophy wife, and everything's just very over the top. It kind of was a cross between the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Married with Children. It was like nobody was safe. We were going to make fun of everybody. And we were this very wealthy family in Beverly Hills. But what was really wonderful about that job is that when the first day that I was driving to set, I had this anxiety and panic attack of like, oh my God, I've never been a lead on a sitcom before. Like, I can't do this. What were they thinking? Am I going to pull this off? Like, and I really had to, talk to myself and give myself a pep talk and go,
pep talk, right?
Pep talk, right? Like, they hired you for a reason. So like, trust that reason, that you're bringing something to the table that they want, and,
exactly.
And just be there and experience it. And, by the end of that season, I was like, I can do anything. Like, they made me do
bring it on, world.
Yeah. They made me do some really silly stuff. And it was just so fun. And it was very liberating in a way of like, you know what, no matter what it is, I'm okay. Like, I can do it. And, in terms of acting, it's like, as long as it's grounded in some kind of reality and that's your base, you could kind of have a pretty big wide net of places that you can go depending on the genre. And with that show, the net was very wide.
Guess what? We have evidence of that.
Oh no. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, can you look at that somewhere else? I want everything to be just perfect. Janice Gregory from the Ladies Club will be here soon to evaluate me for the board. Oh my God. That's her.
All right. I'm going. Good luck, baby.
Oh, headache.
I'll get that.
No, you won't.
Hi. Oh, your place is so beautiful.
I think so, too. But I might not be a good judge, seeing as my last place had a toilet in the living room.
Thank you for sharing, Calvester. Just come right in.
Wow! How can I get me a lift ticket to them slopes?
Calvester, leave. Please just ignore him. That's my husband's brother. Insanity runs on his side of the family.
So, Ashley, let's cut to the chase. Why do you think you should be on the board of the Ladies Club?
Well, I love Beverly Hills, and I want to make sure it stays the affluent, perfectly safe community that it is today.
Yo, ladies! What's up, Mr. Dub? What's up? What's up? What it do?
Hi. What do?
Yeah, know what I'm saying?
You didn't say anything.
You must be that hood rat from the Ladies Club I keep hearing about.
I am Janice Gregory.
All right, I'm feeling that. Give it up. Give it up. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
JR, what are you doing?
Chill out, baby girl. I got this.
Baby girl?
Yo, Shawty, my mom's best get up in this Ladies Club, else I'ma catch a case up in here, you heard me?
Ah! You people are just so ghetto. Why don't you move to Brentwood?
Yeah, trick, yeah! Pow, trick.
You are terrific at comedy. Tell me, you're terrific at everything, but you really have a natural timing for the comedy and the expressions, the enthusiasm. You really enjoy it, huh?
Thank you. I did. I had so much fun on that show. It just was high octane energy the whole time.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
And then, of course, there's Supernatural, which is a whole other thing. And of course, The Walking Dead. And I mean, you, from dramatic roles to thrillers to comedy, you really mastered all to daytime as well. Tell us about how Supernatural came along for you.
Wow. Well, I'm in 2 episodes which are not connected at all. I play 2 different characters over the first episode I did and the second one are 10 years apart. I just, it's traditional way I auditioned. The first episode I did was in the first season of the show. It's called Bugs. It's a very infamous episode. And one of the episodes that fans definitely have an opinion about. And I had to work with live tarantulas in that episode. So that was fun. It was definitely a challenge. I did not like spiders and was terrified of spiders. And this is a great story for anyone out there who's an actor and thinks that when you go to an audition, although we don't really go to auditions anymore, everything's on tape.
Self-tape now, yeah.
But if anyone asks you if you can do something or you're afraid of something and it's not the truth, don't say it.
Because they're gonna give you that spider
That's
next
right.
week.
I was in front of the director, Kim Manners, who also has passed away, but was very well known for directing some really known X-Files episodes. And so that was a show that I loved. And so it was really exciting for me, the prospect of working with Kim on Supernatural. And he had turned to me and he said, you're going to have to work with live tarantulas. Are you going to be able to do that? And I was like, oh yeah, no problem. Right. And right. Like an idiot. And then I'm walking to my car afterwards and I'm like, what did I just say? Like, that's crazy. I hate spiders. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I won't get it. Like, there were other great actors there. Like, what are the odds that I'm in? Lo and behold, of course I get the role. So, I had to go and meet with the bug wranglers before I went to set to do a test, right? So I'm trying to act really cool, right? I am sweating buckets, right, underneath my clothes. And I go into this trailer and basically everything's crawling. Like, it's snakes, beetles, tarantulas, lizards. I was like... oh my gosh. But trying to act super cool. Like, all right, how you guys doing in here? And the guy's like, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of tarantulas on you and we're just going to continue to talk, right? And have a conversation and just ignore them. And I just kind of want to see how you do with them. And I'm like, okay. Yes, let's do that now. And so he puts them on me. One of which was on my face as I'm trying to concentrate and listen to what he's saying. Ooh. And the one he put on my face was it was a baby. So it was like about that big. And it went inside my ear and did not come out. And we're still talking and there's other tarantulas crawling on me. And I'm like, I have a question. There's a tarantula in my ear, and is that going to come out on its own, or how does this work? And he's like, oh, that happens. And he goes to his desk and he gets like a Bic pen, right? Takes the blue cap off of it and sticks the pointy end in my ear and starts doing this in my ear. And he goes, poop, and it pops out and he goes, well, there you go. He's like, don't worry about that. When we're shooting, we're just put earplugs in so they can't do that. And I was like, trying not to hyperventilate. And he's like, well, if that didn't bother you, you're going to be fine. And I was like, totally.
It wasn't exactly like he took out a fruit fly.
I was like, oh my goodness. Secondly, the second part of that is my character dies, right? And she's attacked by these tarantulas. And Kim Manners, the director, really, really, really wanted to do a shot where they pan down my whole body, and he wanted my mouth open.
Ooh.
Okay, eyes closed, mouth open. And I was like, once again, question. So knowing that this tarantula just went in my ear, what happens if my mouth is open, right? Bug wrangler's like, no problem. Here's what we're going to do. They don't like anything damp. So before we dump them on you, lick your lips, right? And
remember this, folks. Write this
remember
down. If
this
you're
in
ever in a
case this-
situation where
yeah,
you're laying
this
down
is
on the
a life
ground
hack.
and
Yeah,
a
this is in
tarantula
case
is
you're
going
in a
into your mouth.
situation.
From
Don't let down
Carrie.
things. So, so I was like, okay, so they dumped 160 baby tarantulas. I love your face. 160 baby tarantulas on me.
Hope you got an
and
extra $50 for that.
I actually did get like stunt pay actually for that.
At least. Yes,
Yeah.
at least.
And so before they do that, and they have these Tupperware containers, and they're about to dump them on me, I look like a lunatic because I'm doing this. Okay, I'm almost ready. Okay, let's go. Like, so I'm trying to right. So they dump them on, and they're like, knowing, that it's going to take a long time to get all these little suckers off of me. Like, as an actor, right, you don't mess up the shot. So as we're shooting, now this is back when they were on film, like I can hear the inner workings of the camera. My eyes are closed, and I can hear it go by. Well, as it goes by, I feel this like sting in my forehead because something's bit me. Like, and I'm like, oh no, like in my head, like I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna die.
Just so you know, folks, what she goes through to provide this entertainment for all of you.
For you.
Now you know behind the scenes what she goes through. She's jumped off cliffs, she's driven to California. She's had tarantulas in her ear just to provide pleasure and entertainment for the viewing public.
Yes. Well, I didn't ruin the take, right? And they cut, right? The bug people come back in. I said, can you check my head? Something's bit me, right? And he looks at it and he goes, oh yeah, it was a biggie. It didn't get through all the layers of the skin.
He's so casual. Oh yeah, no biggie.
Yeah, didn't get through all the layers of the skin. You're going to be fine, is what he said to me. And then I hear, we're going to go again. Great. Let's see what happens in the second take. Like I was. Anyway, I actually did get a standing ovation from the crew.
Oh, I would imagine you were like.
But Jim, let me tell you now, not afraid of spiders.
See?
It's completely cool with spiders now. I pick them up with my hands. I bring them outside. Not an issue. So, there's always a plus.
See, if they ever come out with Spider Woman instead of Spider Man, you're
true.
it.
I'm in.
Hire her.
I'm
She's
ready
it.
to go.
She can play it like nobody can.
That's correct. I'm ready to go.
The Walking Dead, of course, that another incredible series. Tell us about that. How did that end up happening for you?
Gosh, that was such an incredible opportunity because I have been a fan of The Walking Dead since the very first episode. And as an actor, it's always thrilling to be able to walk on a set on a show that you watch. Going quickly back to daytime, I did have a recurring role on Days of Our Lives after all my children, and growing up with Salem in our living room every day because my mom watched the show. It was really thrilling to walk on the set and be like, I'm in Salem. And for me, The Walking Dead, it was the same thing. I auditioned here in Atlanta, The Walking Dead in Atlanta. It's the two things, Tyler Perry and The Walking Dead. Those are two productions that you think of when you think of Atlanta actors. So I was like, okay, I feel like an Atlanta actor now. I have both of those credits, but it was really thrilling. And again, that was during COVID. So I put myself on tape. And I actually found out that I got The Walking Dead while I was in quarantine shooting Sistas. And there was a little bit of, uncertainty there because I couldn't leave quarantine to go to a wardrobe fitting for The Walking Dead. And I have to say that I have so much appreciation and gratitude for Tyler Perry because he actually rearranged the schedule so that I could get out of quarantine early so I could move on to The Walking Dead, which was very, very cool. But it was just so thrilling to sit in front of these characters and actors that I had watched for years. And, my character she's interrogating them. So I got to really, have some fun in the scene and interrogate these characters that I've loved for many seasons.
It's incredible. I mean, some really interesting scenarios too, and the makeup and the sets and the costuming.
Yeah, and
Pretty
again,
extraordinary, huh?
another really weird show to be on during COVID.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, so how did that work? How were you able to film and do all of that? What was
Well,
that like?
a lot of testing. We
Yeah.
did a lot of testing, but it was just so weird to drive onto the studio lot and see these posters and signs that say testing here and all of
Yeah.
this. You're like, is that a set
Is
piece or
that
is
is that
that
like
really
a
COVID testing?
Twilight Zone episode being revamped or
It was
something? Or
very odd to be on
yeah,
that set
I would
and
imagine.
in the midst of COVID. A lot of masking, face shields and the whole deal, food coming in plastic containers
Yeah.
and like,
Right. 6 feet apart as much as you
yeah,
can and all
as
that.
much as you can, but you can't, when you're filming. I mean, we shot in very tight spaces. They've got, 2 to 3 camera crews in there, plus the cast, plus sound, plus, you're like a bit close, very close, but you're being tested all the time.
All
So,
the time, right.
and to my knowledge, that production as well has never had anyone get sick. So they've done a very good job of keeping everyone safe.
That's really, really cool. What about also the wishing tree?
Yeah, that was a Hallmark.
Yes, because for
Thing.
those we just mentioned, I had my buddy Paul Green was on the
Yes,
other
he's like
night.
Mr. Hallmark.
Mr. Hallmark with all When Calls the Heart and all the Christmas
Yes,
movies. So you've dabbled in the Hallmark world as well, and
absolutely.
they're diehard fans that watch the
Not
Hallmark Channel.
Hallmarkies. Yes, there's the
Hallmarky
Hallmarkies.
and Lifetime, they are diehard
Yes,
fans too.
yes. I being from Vancouver and I've lived there many years, as later in my acting career, I ended up going back because there was so much work there for me. If you are a Vancouver actor, you've done Hallmark, probably. There's so much. The bulk of their production happens in Vancouver, and so it's an experience that you get to have. And like Tyler Perry, Hallmark very much appreciates daytime actors because they do move very quickly in their productions, and a lot of their viewers are there's a lot of crossover in terms of the fans and the viewers for Hallmark productions. So, there's a lot of daytime people that do Hallmark, and Wishing Tree is actually one of my favorite Hallmark productions I did. It just was really such a special story, and I was very kind of a Grinchy character, but then she has a change. She turns around. She's very Cruella de Vil through a lot of it, but then has that moment when she realizes the error of her ways.
Mhm.
But it's a wonderful Christmas movie, and I think that it's so hard now because now there's so many different avenues to stream things and what have
Now,
you.
yeah, Paramount, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I feel like that's available somewhere to stream, whether it's on Amazon or I know Hallmark also has kind of a streaming platform as well. But The Wishing Tree is a really wonderful, wonderful Christmas movie.
How can I apologize?
We all make mistakes, Mrs. Green. Right now, you and Andrew are gonna need each other.
Not as much as he's going to need you at St. Mark's. I've already talked to Martin. I'm so sorry. I hope that you can find it in your heart someday to forgive me.
It's fine. I understand. It's really not necessary.
You make a difference in these kids' lives. And I know you made a difference in mine.
Very touching, very moving, huh?
Very Hallmark.
Yes, exactly.
It's what they do best. It's what they do.
They're
They get you
fantastic.
right here.
They really do. Yeah, they're experts at it and extraordinary. And everybody starts with the 25 days of Christmas, and then they start watching Counting Down to all of the different specials. But really, what was it like being involved in that project?
It was a lot of fun. And it's always nice when you get a chance to play a character that has a change and an arc like that. She's
Yeah,
so cold, so strong, but you get to see the vulnerability in her
yeah,
and realize that she just really doesn't understand how to connect to her son. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
yeah.
She through Jason Gedrick's character, who's his professor, really kind of sees how simple it really is, you know?
Yeah.
So just tell him that you love him, you know, and
Right.
I think that's something universally that we forget sometimes is it's that simple, you know, just show up and let that person know that you love them. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's something else that you're doing that I think is absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, we have your website for it. Tell us about this. This is really, really fantastic. It's a whole other incredible project, State of Slay, that you're working on. You're a big mental health and wellness advocate on many different levels. This is the website we're looking at here. Um, Tell us about this and what spurred this and inspired you to want to really delve in deep with this.
Wow, you know, this goes really deep.
Yeah.
You know, I, for many, many years, struggled with mental health issues that I hid. You know, I struggled with depression, with anxiety, with a number of things. You know, even going back to all my children, you know, I had so much anxiety while I was shooting that show that I never allowed myself to fully enjoy the accomplishment of being on that show. It's not to say I didn't enjoy it, I did, but I was always nervous, always worried that something was going to be happening to take that away. And you know, there had always been this you know, this thing in me that, like I had mentioned earlier, you know, I felt unsure of myself. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin. You know, would hide and play characters or pretend to be who I thought you wanted me to be. And, you know, when I got into this career, it was just the perfect escape. You know, it's like I got to do that for a living. I got to be other people. But in the meantime, I really wasn't learning and honoring who I was. And I really, at a point in my life, years later, hit a real emotional bottom where I just could not continue doing what I was doing anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, that journey and finding that courage to reach out to help the first time came from someone sharing their story with me, someone that I knew. And
How beautiful is that for them to feel safe and comfortable to share it with you, right?
absolutely. And, you know, that gave me the courage. And that's who I reached out to the first time to say, I identified with your story. And I don't know what to do. And that set me on a path of recovery and, you know, better mental health. And it's been over 16 years now since that phone call. And in the course of that journey, as I was learning about for the first time ever, you know, learning about myself, and this journey started at, you know, 35 for me. So I was 35 years old, not having a clue who I was, and just feeling completely depleted and lost.
Right.
And you know what I learned in that early part of my recovery is that there is an abundance of help out there if you ask for it.
Yes.
And the moment that I was able to be honest about where I was with my family, my friends, other people, there were so many hands that came out to say, what do you need? Can we help? There were so many suggestions. You know, it was going to suggestions. It was suggested to me early on just to say yes to everything, say yes. And I did that. You know, I tried a lot of different things. And I really had to get honest with myself. There were a lot of things in my life that I had, stories and narratives that I had continued to tell myself since childhood that were not true, or they were no longer true, right? As an adult. And yet I kept living in the past and harboring this anger and resentments and disappointments, and letting that rule my life. My life was just completely ruled by fear and anger. And yet you would never know that to meet me.
Right.
You know? And I hid it from everybody until I couldn't hide it anymore. You know, I could only stuff things down so long, and I did stuff them down for a very long time, until they just started. I just noticed my hair. I don't know what's going on. They just started to bubble back up, and I couldn't control it anymore. It's like I couldn't keep the lid on the pressure cooker, and I'm so grateful for that I was able to find the courage to reach out to help. That moment that I was honest with the people in my life about how I was feeling and what was going on in my life, a lot of that pressure just disappeared, right? I wasn't carrying around this big secret anymore. It was out. And my worst fear of people are going to label me and think I'm crazy, think I'm broken, think that, all of these negative things, none of that happened, right? That was all my head lying to me, keeping me sick. I experienced just an abundance of love and support. And, there were so many different avenues of help there. And I really reached out to so many of them to find something that worked really well for me. And I could start building a foundation and start learning who in the heck I was. I had no answer to that question. And that was kind of terrifying, but it was also very exciting, so I set out on a journey to find out who I was, and to get help and to learn better choices for myself, to find those healthier choices for myself, and to take care of myself, to learn about self-care, which is not anything I knew anything about prior to that.
Right.
And how important self-care is. So it's really been an incredible journey. And within that journey, I began to ask myself, how am I giving back? This was an incredible gift that was given to me because someone shared their story with me. That gave me the courage and enough light to go after, my own recovery. I've got to do that. I've got to continue to share. I got to pay it forward, essentially. I got to continue to share my story and to shine my light so that someone else who might be sitting in the dark can see that light and know that there's help and they're not alone. And that became such a passion for me, and still is. You mentioned Attitudes in Reverse at the beginning of the interview. Attitudes in Reverse is a nonprofit organization that I was connected with because of Supernatural. And Trish Baker, who founded that organization, lost her son to suicide and has started this nonprofit. And she goes into schools to talk about anti-bullying, mental health, and suicide prevention. And it is one of the joys of my life when I get to go in and share my story and share my light with different students across the country. It is, I just think, a duty of mine to give back. And it's something that really, truly gives me so much joy and makes my light shine brighter. And that's it. We're all in this together, right?
We really are. Yes, it takes a village on so many different levels, right?
Yes.
And that's such a beautiful thing that you're doing, and you're so open and authentic and real about it all. And I think when people, realize your extraordinary background, but then at the same time that Carrie is a real person and she goes through things like everybody else does, in real life, it makes you even more, you're so relatable to begin with, but it makes you even more relatable to people. And it's such a authentic and real and impactful way. And that's really beautiful, huh? It's like legacy work.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, it's really interesting when I get to go into schools because, when I was in school, I was so riddled with fear and I was so shy, and it is never lost on me every time I stand in front of a classroom of students that I laugh to myself thinking, if I had told myself in high school that I was going to be standing up in front of a classroom of kids that I did not know and talk about mental health, depression, suicide, you know, all
Right.
of these topics, you know, that I would have never talked about. And I would have said, you're crazy. And yet it's such an honor to be able to do that. And, you know, I know growing up, you know, in school, we didn't have that. We had, you know, around prom, don't drink and drive. That was kind of the extent of it.
I remember. That's right.
With a crashed car in front of the school. We didn't have people coming in and talking about mental health. And so I think it's incredible that those programs exist. I think that there definitely is a need for more of that, especially in the last couple of years. We've all struggled with mental health. I know that I certainly, it challenged my mental health the last couple of years, the isolation and other things,
Yeah.
you know? And, you know, I think that hopefully, I'm hoping that in all of this, right, we learn to reach out more. There are so many ways, and exactly what you're doing too, you know, we have this technology available to us. If we're not able to all get in a room together, we can reach out virtually and support and love one another. It's so incredibly important. Like, I don't do any of this alone. It does take a village, and there are a lot of people that walk with me who love me and support me, and I them. And you know, we're definitely all stronger together.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And again, that website is really fantastic. It's a great whole other aspect, gang, that you might not be aware of, stateofslay.com, and very interactive and a lot of cool things going on with that, huh?
There's a lot. I've got over 500 original blogs that I've written about my journey with mental health, all on different topics. So whatever it is you're going through, there's probably something there that may speak to you. Yeah.
Really beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We have a couple of photos that we want to show, and maybe you can tell us what we're seeing here. Look at this one.
Oh, wow. Yes. This is a tough lady. This was from an independent film, a Canadian film called Evil Feed. And this is Madame Dragonfly, who is very hell-bent on getting what she wants. Wow. That's a powerful shot.
That's what I say. That's why she's not Madame. That's why she's Madame.
Madame. Madame. Oh, this is fun. This is actually on location in Romania. I shot a film in Romania, which was an incredible experience, called They're Watching, which I believe is on Amazon Prime. And I play I play a nasty character. Yeah. You wouldn't know it in this moment, this behind the scenes moment. We're laughing at some footage that we just shot.
Yeah.
And both of the gentlemen with the knit hats on are dual directors, Micah and Jay. And you notice his face, yeah. He's like, well done. we got to ad-lib a lot in that film, which I love. And because my character is, you know, she's the boss, essentially, I just really had license to make fun of everybody.
That is funny. That is a great shot. It's a great capture of you too.
Oh, thank you.
As you're really expressing yourself.
Yes. Oh, this is a Hallmark movie as well. Lies Between Friends, I think it's called. Yes, this was fun. This was shot in Victoria, BC. Victoria is so beautiful.
It's a beautiful
on the
area.
Island there. Yeah, this is a murder mystery. This is Sistas. There I am. This is that set. I think I was, you know, talking.
What are you talking about, right?
Look, there's a full bar. There's a gift shop with handbags. I mean, it's huge. It's like.
Did you do a little shopping in between takes?
I did. Jim, I didn't have time. I didn't even know we were shooting. When did I have time to shop?
You know, it almost looks like that. The way your hand is out and your expression looks like that's what you're telling him.
Yeah, I'm like,
I want to shop and I don't have time to shop.
Exactly. I need to go shopping.
I thought I was going to have a shopping scene.
Right. Exactly.
Flash,
this was, my gosh, another behind the scenes. This is from FlashGordon, which was for Sci-Fi Channel. And this was such a fun show to work on. My character's name was Vestra, and she was the leader of a planet of all women.
Mm,
Yes.
yes. Yeah.
There were men, but they were
Yeah.
slaves.
But they were slaves.
You gotta love sci-fi.
Yeah.
Another awesome genre with incredible fans. Oh, this is well, you mentioned the award for Best Actress. This is the film, gosh, it just slipped right out of my head. The Ballerina and the Rocking Horse.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a short film that was made in LA, and my character was in a coma for I believe it was like 35 years or something. Again, sci-fi, and wakes up in the future. And of course, everything's changed, and her parents are now elderly, and life is changed as she knew it. So, yeah.
Very cool.
This is the Madame again behind the scenes.
Yeah. Cool shot.
Yeah. Oh, this is oh gosh, it's slipping my mind. Oh my gosh, it's zombies, but not The Walking Dead. It was for Crackle.
Oh
Carrie,
yeah.
come on,
Yes.
think about it. Darn, I can't think of the name. But this was such a fun show, a fun movie to work on. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
I got to work with Rob Riggle, who is just the master of comedy and improv. And it was just the two of us in this newsroom set for the entire movie. And we got to ad lib a lot and joke around. And as you can see, I'm looking at him right now. My character's very annoyed by him.
Yeah.
Dead Rising, Watchtower.
Yes.
That's called. Really fun movie. Really fun movie. Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, this is I'm playing Jackie Kennedy for
Yes.
WATCHMEN, which was really an amazing experience, and really trippy. Even I look at that picture and look twice.
I know, absolutely.
Walking Dead. There she is. There's Clark. Yes, ready to interrogate and yeah, to do her job. Another Hallmark movie. Looking happy. This is a Christmas movie as well for Up TV. This is called Season's Greetings. And this is a fun movie as well. Another villain, not a nice lady. There she is. It's not dragon.
Look at that face. Would you mess with her?
You should not. No. Only bad things. Although I do end up getting in like a very big physical altercation at the end of that, and not great things happen to her.
That is funny. So
Yeah.
you're really enjoying the ride. This is really bringing you great blessing and joy. I mean, you see, we sprinkled in a good variety of different things to show
We
the
really
scope
did.
and variety of what you do and what you bring to the table. And have you ever had roles where they were so intense and so emotional and they demanded so much of you, Carrie, that they were tough to detach from when you would go home, or just when you were moving on to another role? Did you ever have a role or two? I know some people say, I have trouble separating myself from the role sometimes, which is me, which is the character, because, you know, you immerse bits of who you are into characters as well. Ever have some that are so intense it requires some reflection and downtime from it?
Yeah, absolutely, because in every character that I play, there's a piece of me in there, and it taps into there's something in there that I can relate to, and sometimes you have to dig stuff up, or it triggers stuff from your past. So there's definitely things that sometimes are harder to let go. It's funny, I just had a conversation about this with someone about acting this week, about how important it is for actors to learn how to detach and let things go at the end of a project or the end of a really intense scene, because it can be really hard on you emotionally if you're carrying that around. And so, that's something that during, this last 16 plus years of my life, I've really worked on to create kind of a safe place for myself, to let go of my job. But, it does still kind of linger sometimes. And so definitely going back to All My Children, I was mentioning, Skye had done so many crazy things during the course of me being there. And she kind of confessed a lot of them before she left. And so I was like crying pretty much every day.
Yeah.
That it really wore me down.
It
I was
had to
coming
be.
home at the end of the day and feeling really down. And because every day I'm telling people, I'm so sorry, I did this and I'm awful. As I was sharing with someone the other day, my mind and body doesn't know that it's pretend. It's thinking it and feeling it like I'm really going through it. It doesn't know the difference, right? And so I have to honor that and, really do things to kind of let myself kind of cut the cord, whether it be doing something nice for myself, enjoying a meal that I love, or, spending time.
Meditate, or
My husband will make me laugh, or we'll talk about something, meditate, go for a walk. I find nature for me is very healing. So if I can get out in nature and walk around, I find that very healing. It
really is.
So healing. But yeah, I think in life too, we got to find those times that are times for us, going back to self-care, and really take that time. I know it can be hard to carve that out in our days, but like go have a bubble bath, or, walk the dog, or, throw the ball or throw, some hoops or something.
Put some good music on and just
let music, right? Our
music.
favorite TV show or movie,
Yes,
that makes you laugh.
And the ocean for me is a zen place for me. Growing up near the ocean.
Yeah.
You got to drag me out of it. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, walking in it. Just when you're walking barefoot on a beach near the ocean and the tide is coming in, just going slightly over your toes. There's something very grounding to the earth and to nature when you're near the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. And, sometimes going back, tying it all back into writing the letter, sometimes I've actually written a letter, like saying goodbye to that character. Right.
That is very cool. Yeah.
To say, all right, it's been a nice ride.
Exactly.
It's been nice kind of getting to sit in your shoes, but it's time to say goodbye. And that's kind of healing as well, of letting that go. It is really tough. There's times that I'll get auditions where I'm like, I don't really want to be in this headspace right now. It's kind of tricky as an actor. There's that balance. So I'm very grateful that I'm in the place that I am in regards to mental health. And I have a lot of tools in my toolbox now that I can use. But there's days when I'm like, whew, this is just hitting me in a certain way. That's like really,
right here. Yeah. What did, we've been mentioning it recently with a lot of the guests. There have been a lot of teachable moments that we've all experienced during this time of great pause and reflection, rebooting, refreshing, self-exploration. What did Carrie learn about Carrie during the last 2 years in these teachable moments?
That's an interesting question. I think, I really tried to double down on reaching out to people, of giving back, because, I know if I'm feeling isolated and I'm feeling alone, others are as well.
Yeah.
And I know that the remedy for that is to reach out, not isolate, right? My brain will be like, just stay at home, shut the door, turn on Netflix, right? That's not going to make me feel better, right? I'm a human being. I need that contact, right?
Got to have that communal spirit, right?
Exactly. And that really helped me a lot to reach out. I sort of sporadically would do, live streams where I would, we talked about this, about where this came from, right? Of connecting with people around the world,
right?
Of just sharing your common experiences and how you're doing, how you're feeling. And I knew that about myself, like, prior to all of this, but I just really had to dig in and remind myself for that connection, find that connection. And it's, it's funny because I've traveled a lot alone for work. I've done a lot of things, and I've had to be alone. And I kind of always considered myself this, lone wolf, and I realized that like, I love people. Like I love to be around people. I love the interaction. I do love that alone time, that downtime, but it's like, I think
Yes.
when all of that was taken away from me, I realized how much I thrive off that connection.
Yes.
Um,
I'm the same way. Exactly. You do. It's interesting because sometimes the days where you want the alone time, stay in the bathrobe, have a dish of ice cream and watch reruns of I Love Lucy is the day sometimes that everybody wants you around and they want your energy and sometimes they don't realize that even though you're a public figure and you're out there and you're on stage and you're on set and you're at this function and that function and doing your thing and they see that version that some people like and require that Sunday of shades down, phone off the hook, and you're just going to do what you do. If your hair's sticking up, hey, that's fine. You're in your slippers. The dog is there on the couch with you. And you're kind of like really enjoying your time getting in touch with you, especially as a performer, because you're performing for everybody else. And as an actor, you're taking on other roles, other lives, other scenarios, and then you need that time to be you, to be Carrie, and to not necessarily have the phone ringing and all the activity. And it gives you time to reboot and refresh. Some people require that more than ever than others. I know I love those days and sometimes people who see me on television or hear me on radio or see me in other public forums think that that's 24/7.
Right.
And so the day that I'm at an event or whatever, when I'm just quiet because I'm listening, I'm observing, I'm not running it, I'm not hosting it, I'm not, participating. I'm a guest or I'm an observer. Some people, are you feeling okay, Jim? Are you all right? Is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, why? Well, because you're so quiet. You're just not saying anything. I'm like, no, I'm enjoying. I'm relaxing. I don't have anything to say. I'll come up with something when I think of something, but I'm just relaxing and, I'm enjoying the shrimp cocktail and it's good. Yeah. Sounds relatable, huh?
Cocktail. That's hilarious. No, I relate to that a lot. I think that, it and also it's learning to honor what you need that day, and sometimes it's not even that day. It's that moment where you're like, ooh, I really need like a 5-minute timeout, but recognizing that in yourself and honoring that. I think that, I'm a big believer in the power of the pause. I used to, prior to, being on the journey that I'm on and the path I'm on, I would continuously just react to things immediately. Like there was a big like red buzzer and I'm like, no, and I would throw myself into situations instead of really asking myself like, there's my dog.
That's unconditional love barking.
Oh, Daphne, there's no barking. She's like, somebody's out there. I'm protecting the house. Daph, come here. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
they're gonna ask for Daph now.
They are gonna ask for Daphne. She's a sweetie. She's a little golden doodle. She is actually a certified service animal, and she comes with me when I get to go into classrooms.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and she takes part. If you go onto my website, carriegenzel.com, and you go to causes, that she has there's a little blurb about Daphne, and you can see she has a trading card.
Does she really?
He has a trading card for when we go into classrooms and the students get to collect the trading cards. The service animals have trading cards.
That's awesome.
And she loves it because she thinks that all the students are there to see her.
But of course.
Right? Because at the end, they all get to line up and say hi to Daphne, and she sits there so proud. And she's, and what's wonderful, and I went way off topic, but what's wonderful about service animals and animals in general is that it opens the door for discussion. There are so many times that I've been with Daphne and there's someone there and we start talking about Daphne and they start petting Daphne. And then, the story comes out of what's happening for them and something that they were having trouble communicating. And so there's such a great bridge of communication,
They really are, aren't they?
And she's just so loving and she's so empathic she always zeroes in on the people that need her most. She
very intuitive. Yeah.
Very intuitive. We've noticed that about her early on when we got her, and that's, and because she's my dog, she would get invited to events and things. So we got her certification, which we did during COVID. So she did remote learning because her trainer is in New Jersey. And so we did remote learning with Daphne and she did great. And it was very funny. So when we had to get her final test, we had to just go out and video or like with our phone, her doing certain tasks. And it was very funny because people were wondering what the heck we were doing. But I thought, Michael, do you want to bring Daphne over? So that she can say hi.
Merlin's from Ontario, Canada, and she says, "Bring him on!
Bring him on! Yes, hi! Oh, you're from Canada? Yay! Hi,
Terry in Kansas. Bring her on! Bring her on!"
Daphne's a sweetie. Okay, where is she? I don't know where he went. Okay, Daphne, where is she? She took off. I don't know where she went. He'll go get her.
She must be Union.
She's roaming around. She's right. I don't have a waiver for this. Oh, wait, there she is. She's roaming around. Come here.
The mystery.
The mystery Daphne. She'll come up. She'll come up for sure. She's wanting. She was, for the most of this whole show, she's been sleeping on the couch next to me. Here she comes. Come here. Oh, you know what? I have a light up so you can see me, and it's like she's nervous about the light. My husband will come out and get her. She's roaming around. She'll come. I'm very surprised she hasn't just popped up.
Feeling out. Yeah. Probably hears my voice coming through the speakers too. It's like, okay, I hear it, but I don't see him.
Yep.
Where is that voice coming from?
There's
there we go.
Daphne. And Michael.
There's the associate producer bringing the dog in.
There's Miss Daphne. This is whoops, she's hiding.
New friends. Say hi.
There she is. Oh, she's a little sleepy. She's been sleeping this whole time. This is Michael, my husband. Say hello, Michael, to Jim and
all the Loveties.
All the Loveties.
Yeah. Say hi, new friend. Look, new friends. Oh, okay.
She's going to snuggle.
So how old is she?
Nice to meet you.
She is.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, she's there. I'm going to step on my back. She's just almost 3.5 years old.
Well, she's perfectly positioned right behind you.
She knows her angles. Yeah.
Very good lighting. Very good lighting.
But she's going to do a nice profile. There she goes. I'm going to sit right back here. That's what she does. She's usually close to me. So she's wonderful. We fly with her. She's oh gosh, she's been on, I think 13 or 14 flights. She's a very trusted little traveler. Many times the flight attendants will say she's the best passenger on the flight. My gosh. Yeah.
Well, lately on planes, probably I would say the most well-mannered.
That's what we get comments on that all the time, that she's the most well-mannered.
Now you know what happens when you bring your family member that happens to be a pet on. You become, even though you're a rock star, you become secondary. She's a darling. Hello, Michael and Daphne, and Michael and Daphne, and everybody
Daphne also has.
We love all these comments. Good to see
I
everybody.
know,
All the
I love it.
lovelies
Thank
here.
you, everyone. I know she's such a sweetheart. Speaking, going back to COVID and the isolation, she so saved us from, so many dark days, because
Oh,
she just kept
yes.
us laughing. She gets us outside for walks, and I'm so grateful that we had her during that time. She probably was kind of sick of us, going, why don't these people ever go out anymore? But we're so grateful to have her during that time of isolation.
Do you see any future in entertainment for Daphne?
You never
Maybe
know.
a TV commercial or something?
You never know. She's quite a diva, I don't know, she
she knows.
She's very aware of the camera though, because she, my parents are in Vancouver and adore Daphne, and so I started an Instagram account for Daphne just so they can follow her. And she will pose. She very much knows if I'm taking a picture. She'll pose. She gets it somehow.
That is funny.
Yeah, she understands. She's like, oh, this is that camera. This is that camera. This is for my account. Yes.
That's cool. So you're really loving you're in a good spot right now. You have done so many different things in your life. You've continued moving forward. You've had incredible network television experiences, continued to film, TV, stage, a variety of different things. And then you have this whole other thing where you're really celebrating and embracing health and wellness and balance and good mental health, which is paramount right now. And you're paying it forward and loving the ride. What are some of those continued blessings and joys? We just saw 2 show up on screen.
Absolutely.
Continued blessings and joys in your life, Carrie, that continue to forge you forward.
I think it's just that it's Michael and I have been married now just over a couple of years, and getting married was a big step for me, and getting to know each other and learning what it means to be a part of that kind of partnership and union. Being an actor, my life has been very career centered, and can be, at times very selfish in that way of like, I got to go, I'm traveling, I got to prepare, I got to learn lines, I've got to do this. And so, it's a very different mindset to be in a marriage, and have our little family. And it's nice. It's so nice to have that, and have those challenges of, bringing someone else into those considerations and daily choices. So that's been very interesting. And then of course, having the extended family as well, right?
Yes.
My family grew. And so that's very fun. And, just always looking for different ways to communicate, to give back.
Right.
I'm always looking for new opportunities and new things. I have actually a couple of fan events coming up. I have one coming up at the end of May in Peachtree, Georgia, at the Hilton there, called The Camp, which is really cool and really fun.
Peachtree. I have friends that own a dance studio there, a vocal studio, voice studio.
Oh, cool.
Lisa Kelly.
Okay.
Vocal studio. She used to be one of the Celtic Women.
Wow.
Celtic Woman. She used to be one of the Celtic Women. She loves Georgia. She and her husband, Scott, they raised their kids there in Peachtree. And they have the Lisa Kelly, Voice Academy there. And
Very cool.
Dance Academy. It's fantastic. Right there in Peachtree.
Nice. I love Peachtree City.
Yeah,
Actually, it's a really nice area. That's May 28th and 29th. I will be there along with some other really awesome guests. You can find information about that at thecampevents.com. Also, carriegenzel.com. I have information on my website. Thank you.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah. And going back to my husband built that website.
Beautifully done.
Beautifully
Did he
done,
do the other
Michael.
one too? Did he do this website as well?
No, I did that myself. That
You
one's
did
been
that
around for a
yourself?
while. I just did that
You
myself.
did a nice job on that one.
Oh, thank you. It's not as fancy as the other website because I'm not as skilled in that way like Michael is. But yeah, so I have the camp coming up May 28th and 29th. And then I have a supernatural convention in Arlington, Virginia in August, the 12th through the 14th.
Very cool.
And that's a creation convention. And you can find that on my website too. So
Yes.
some cool ways to connect, meet and greet. One of the things that's really awesome about the camp is that I am doing a private dinner where we're going to talk about all of this stuff, all the mental health stuff. And I
that's
know that I think
great.
there's only 4 tickets left for that. And that's going to be really cool because we have our own suite and we're going to eat pizza and like talk about the real stuff.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Get down to brass tacks, right?
Exactly.
That is cool. You know, what's cool about you is even though you take on these roles, these extraordinary roles, and you sort of meld into them, you are the real deal. You're so fun. You're authentic. You roll with it. This is like a fantastic tennis match. We don't really call these interviews. We don't script questions. There's no teleprompter. I mean, I do a lot of that in my professional work. You do a lot of that too. A lot of prompters, scripts, and everything. Just a conversation. We let it roll and go in all these different directions, have these nuggets that pop up, the viewers watching it, commenting as well. And this really has been absolutely fantastic. And somebody here that wanted to pop in, he always pops in towards the latter part, Mr. George Burns.
Woo! Mr. George Burns. I love it.
There he is. He's got his cigar too. He's got the cigar. He's got his hanky, and he always likes to say hello. And you knocked it out of the park, kiddo.
I love it. Good. You want to talk about someone that had an incredible career, right? And an incredible legacy.
Yeah, lived to 100. Got to play God in the movie, the God movies, and he just he pops into us the latter part and said that you knocked it out of the park, and it was really great. People got a chance to really, learn a little bit more about the person behind all of these incredible characters. And they're still talking about Daphne. They love Daphne.
Oh, 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 yay!
Yay!
You guys are awesome.
That's the
So
JMS
much
Lovity
love.
Squad. That's right. There's nothing like the Jim Master Show Lovity Squad. Exactly. Thank you, Carrie, for answering posts on Instagram. Always fun to see responses to AMC clips with Skye posted on Instagram. That is really, really cool as well.
Yes.
A couple of other.
I love seeing those clips. It just brings back so many memories.
So many memories. Nikki says, what a journey you've been having, Carrie. I love that you are feeling good and sharing valuable helps us for us and others you touch. That is beautiful. And Kathleen in New York City says, thank you for being here, Carrie. Great meeting you. This was fun. She loved it as well. Juanita, one of our regular, they're all our regular lovities here. Juanita watches in South Africa. This was a great conversation. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing your time and wonderful career with us. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA. Thank you for being here and sharing your wonderful career and your struggle, Carrie. Best wishes in all you do in the future. Merlin in Canada, in Ontario, says, this has been an awesome conversation. Enjoyed meeting you, Carrie. Kathleen in New York, great photos. What an amazing career you've had. Congrats. They're all sending lots of love to your way. We got claps. We've got love meeting you. Really, really nice. And this is terrific. Patricia Companion, one of our lovelies as well. I'm a psychotherapist, and I love seeing people like you in advocacy.
Thank you, Patricia.
Isn't that terrific? Thank you for posting that, lovely Patricia. We love that. Terry Ann here. Carrie, it's so great to have you here as Jim's special guest in Lovity Hall. Nice to meet Michael and Daphne. We'll check out your website as well. Awesome. And that is really, really cool. And everybody commenting here. We appreciate all these fabulous comments. This was fantastic. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, my friend, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely
Oh my gosh, I had a blast. It was beyond my expectations. It was absolutely a blast.
I appreciate that. My father has always said, whenever anybody says something nice or kind, ask them to put it in writing and address it management.
Will do.
Or whatever the management is, just address it management and they'll get it.
Daphne's saying goodbye as well.
Hi, Daphne and Michael and the whole family.
Yep.
Oh, so now you want to talk.
On cue.
Now you want to talk. See, Daphne saw George Burns.
Yes,
So
that's it.
suddenly, time to eat probably for Daphne.
It's probably that time. Oh, Jim,
You're
have a wonderful evening.
You too. You are absolutely the best. You're really, really a spirited person and so cool to connect. We'll keep the porch light on for you. You're always welcome back. Spread the word about our show.
Absolutely.
And absolutely loved having you with us, Carrie.
Thank you. I had so much fun. What a
So did
wonderful,
I.
wonderful time. Thank
I
you to
appreciate
everyone
it.
who watched and everyone who commented. Much love to you all. Stay safe.
Absolutely. You take care and be well, my friend. Okay.
You too.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye now. The one and only Carrie Genzel. Thank you to Carrie. Thank you to Lisa. Thank you to everybody watching. All the great comments coming in here. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, go back and watch this from the beginning. It's nice to have you here. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. You are a lovety. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, boy, would we love that you do that. Spread the word. There is that button there. It's that red button on the YouTube channel. And definitely do that. You will love what we do here. Absolutely epic conversations, great entertainment, levity, poignant moments. Again, like an entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, sort of from the past. A little Cavett, Carson, Regis, Merv, but with a modern vibe, modern twist of today, and sort of playing off my television work. Over 650 episodes. I can't believe I'm saying that. You can binge watch right here on our YouTube channel with guests from Hollywood, Broadway, television, film, stage, music, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, everything. And that's what we like. Not just one niche, not just one topic. This is something for everybody. And again, it was really, really fantastic to spend that quality time with Carrie and all those great photos and just the great conversation, the levity and everything that we really shared. Really, really fantastic. Awesome to have her here on the show. You know her from so many, of course, All My Children, Supernatural, The Walking Dead, but on and on and on. Probably a few shows that you got your memory refreshed about just from our conversation here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Now, if you really enjoyed this, leave a comment on our YouTube channel itself. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel. We would love that. That's, before you go anywhere, just drop a comment right underneath this episode of the YouTube channel. We love that. That helps us big time. And also give this episode a thumbs up, a hearty like. If you enjoyed what we do here and enjoy what we do, leave a nice comment for us. Click that little sort of thumbs up icon you see there. It looks like a little thumb. It looks like that. It's on the YouTube channel. Click it and leave a comment. And also, again, subscribe. And when you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, make sure you click the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the episodes, our live episodes, our special episodes, our holiday-themed episodes, and all the other fun stuff that we do, really, for all of you. 655 plus episodes. I cannot believe it. We mentioned Paul Green. He was just here the other night, my buddy. Paul, of course, from Hallmark Channel and so much more. He sang live. He had a really deep, inspiring conversation. Check that out. It's on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We absolutely loved it. Want to let you know as well. And we mentioned, here's another soap star. Justin Torkelson was with us recently. Buddy of Sean Kane, my buddy as well. So it's sort of like a trifecta of how it all works. He was Rick Forrester for a long time on The Bold and the Beautiful. And of course, he's starring with Sean Kanan now in Studio City. Sean has been on our show 3 times. This was Justin's first time. Did you see the episode with Nick Endicott Gibb, who was on a search for his biological father and found out that his father is Morris Gibb from the Bee Gees? That's right. Morris, Barry, and Robin Gibb. Well, Nick was on this incredible search for his biological father, and he found out that Morris Gibb of the Bee Gees is his dad. This was an epic conversation, and if you didn't see it, check it out. It was really, really something quite special. Want to let you know that tomorrow we have Broadway film and television actor. He's played for years Andre in the Broadway run of The Phantom of the Opera, D.C. Anderson, and Evita. I mean, you name it, he's been in it. And renowned pianist will accompany him, David Robertson. He's 16 years with Phantom of the Opera, Evita, Cats, listed out. It's incredible. They will be our special guests tomorrow. They are going to perform, singing, incredible laughs. It's going to be amazing and great stories too. D.C. Anderson, Broadway film, television actor, singer, songwriter, and renowned pianist David Robertson. They're going to be special guests on the Jim Masters Show tomorrow. That is Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Monday, legendary jazz trumpeter Roger Ingram's going to be with us. Roger has performed with Arturo Sandoval, Quincy Jones, the Woody Herman Orchestra and Band, Tom Jones, Frank Sinatra. He has performed with them all and then some. He's here on Monday. So that's for those of you who are watching the Jim Masters Show live. For those of you who are watching this episode, 5 months from now, that's all old news. So just scroll back and binge watch those episodes like I know you guys like to do. We have the best audience. We really do. Kathleen says, great show. Thanks, Jim. The pleasure is mine. Merlin in Canada. 3 thumbs up from Merlin. Thank you very much. Juanita in South Africa. Moy Loop, which means walk well. Juanita taught us that in South African. Or an African, that Moy Loop means walk well. So we use that when we rap. Fantastic guest. Thank you, Jim. Hope you're feeling better. I know you were I saw recently, I think earlier today, that you were under the weather, and I hope you're feeling better. And yeah, you guys, really, the comments are so great. Thank you, Jim, for another wonderful show. You are fantastic. Thank you very much, Sherry. We still haven't figured out how we can print these comments out. I want to press them in my broadcasting career book. Can't print these out yet. Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate it. Yes, relax. I love that from Merlin and Kathleen Walker. Great night to you as well, watching in New York City. Nice stuff. Yes. And our friend Lisa, Lovety Lisa Rodrigo here as well. My pleasure. Thank you very much. 3 hearts from Lisa. Sherry Larson, 3 hearts, purple hearts. Love it. Claps. Thank you very much. So good to have you here. You'll go back and watch this from the beginning. Yep, we archive it on a YouTube channel. So it's all there for you as well. And you guys are the best. Thanks for all these great comments. And Terry Ann says, Jim, can Carrie please come back? Absolutely. We will keep the door open. And, as far as the length of our shows, we just let it roll. Sometimes a guest has an hour. Sometimes they have 45 minutes. Sometimes they can roll, with it. And we get into some good conversations and interaction, and we just let it roll. And so, we always adjust based on the flow and what's happening. We never set a limit as far as we'll only do 20 minutes or we'll do 2 hours. We let it roll for as long as the guest can be here, as long as you guys are here. We love presenting this. Jim, you are awesome. Nice, Kathleen. I appreciate that very much. You guys are great. Juanita said that you had COVID, but you feel much better. Well, that's good. That is really good. I guess the Lovety Squad pumped out that Lovety to you across the Atlantic, to you in South Africa, and you're doing well. Fantastic. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Sleep well, Loveties. Love and hugs to you as well. And everybody watching live and everybody that is watching Memorex. Gang, you're the best. We're going to wrap up. Thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up on the YouTube channel. Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, we would love it if you subscribe. To those of you who have, we thank you as well. Now, remember, I started the show and I toasted all of you, right? toast, toast, toast. Now, here's what I don't understand. Remember when I started, this was sort of full? I don't understand what happened. That George Burns, that cigar, he presses a button, the cigar jets out like a straw, and I think he sips this up. While I'm talking with the guest and talking with all of you, George Burns' cigar acts as a straw, and somehow he puts it in here and he sips up whatever is in these glasses. I don't know. Well, I got a little bit left for me, I guess. Thanks, George. Cheers to all of you watching from around the world here in Lovelady Hall, the Jim Masters Show. I love that when Glenn Scarpelli is on. Glenn Scarpelli from One Day at a Time, he was on twice, and I love the way he says it. He goes, Lovelady Hall. Actually, it was the viewers. I came up with the word Lovelady, but it's the viewers that said this is Lovelady Hall, and I'm Mr. Lovelady and all the rest. It's you guys that said it. You're also the ones who said keep the E in Lovelady. Don't get rid of that E. So we kept it. Juanita says, yep, Lovelady makes everything better. That's perfect, Juanita. You take care. Nikki says hugs to all. Smiles from Lisa, Lovelady Lisa. And everybody watching, you're the best. Thanks for being with us. We love you all. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. And share this episode. Feel free to share the link to this episode on your social media and all the episodes you enjoy. We love that. Enjoy binge watching the episodes. You can kick back and relax and look at some of the shows again that you've watched, or check out some of the new episodes that maybe you've missed recently, because we pump out a lot of content here and we've been doing it for a long time. We think Carrie, isn't she amazing? She's really a class act. Authentic, funny, real, open. And again, you know her from so many great shows and productions, but now you know a little bit more about Carrie. And that's what I like. We don't just talk about the movie, the book, the CD, or whatever. We have real conversations on the Jim Masters Show live. And I love it as much as you do. And I have no idea sometimes what's going to happen either. We have a certain format to our show, but I have no idea what's going to happen once we go live. So that's kind of cool. That's sort of creative on-the-spot thinking. Lisa goes, I love her. I knew you all would. We sure do. Yes, we are kindred spirits, Lisa, aren't we? Yes. I think there's a phantom sipper. Yes, I think the phantom sipper is George Burns. Kathleen, I think he presses a button and that straw sort of ejects out that cigar ejects out a straw. He sips it up. And he never leaves a trace. Although today he left me just a little sip. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. All right, gang. Thanks for being with us. Class dismissed for just now. If you're not watching live, you're watching this later on. Thanks for being with us as well. I know we talk a lot with our live audience who's interacting with us in our JMS chat room. But we want to thank those of you who are watching this later on. You're watching this in the archives. We appreciate you as well for stopping by the Jim Masters Show and spending some time with us, whether it's live or it's archived. It means a great deal to us, and we value every viewer that watches. And once you view, you become a Lovelady. So by osmosis, a double Lovelady if you subscribe. So you be well, everybody. Take care. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow again. Epic guests coming up. And this was a great episode. So we don't say goodbye here. We say see you later. Shalom, sayonara, hasta la vista, avida zain, cheers, slancha, ciao, and see you later. Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time till next time. Enjoy life. Again, it can be hectic. It could be crazy. It could be nutty. But no, we're always here for you to put a smile on your face, entertain, intrigue you, and hopefully inspire you along the way. Thanks for spending all this time with us. We love you all. Take care and be well. Jim Masters saying cheers.